Welcome back to the PWC channel for some more content, and this is some more pre-season content. Today, I, together with Prof, who's also competing in Typhlosion League, we will together rank the teams of Typhlosion League, and we are gonna rank them on a tier list basis, and you can see the tier list here. We are gonna rank them across 5 tiers. The worst tier is Johto League Warning, then we got a little underwhelming, pretty solid, nothing crazy, to good team with some flaws, and GG. I think these tiers are pretty self-explanatory. Not quite sure if we're gonna just use the entire spectrum of these tiers, but we shall see how it goes. And yeah, first of all, I want to introduce Prof, who's doing this with me today. So Prof has been around in the league ever since the very first season. He's the only coach that has played every single season. He's also from Bavaria, and he's also a huge big mouth playing American football. And yeah, with that, hello, Prof. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited to do this. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It
Okay.
was his. Sorry. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just gonna say it was his idea. So this is also gonna be basically his tier list. I'm just gonna let him do his thing mostly and just chime in every now and then with my own opinions. And yeah. So, Prof, please take it away.
Okay. So I'd start. Basically, for me, um, first up. Okay, first up. This is not personal, of course. I don't know half of you. I don't even know the names of half of the people here. And it's just a team and my perspective and a bit of Trannel's perspective. So just if you have another opinion, that's fine. You can write it in the comments. But just that's our opinion on your team, and yeah. So basically, what we're gonna do, we'll start with the tier list, going up from bottom to the best team, and yeah, so let's get right to it. Starting with the first team, is gonna be Nico with the Orlando Magic Carp. This team for me, now, first up, I don't think that there's one team in this whole league that that's really ass. Okay, so not functional at all. I just think that this team is with with a bit, probably one of the worst teams here. And yeah, so starting up, we have the signature Ninetales. I think with Sun, this team, I mean, you have Great Tusk. Yeah, you have Great Tusk, Sun, and you have Venusaur. That's good. I don't think that Screamtail is really that good in Sun. I just don't like it. And I think Zapdos is, you want to play with the Hurricane maybe a bit, and it's just in Sun, not at all. Then you have Bisharp, which you know already gets roasted. Now you have Eviolite Bishop, which is good, but then Bishop in the Sun, that's just. Then you have Manaphy and Beer, because it's still glow, and the only way for me that I see Manatee really put in some work in a battle is with hydration, rain, rest, toxic, maybe. But that just cancels out your sun. So yeah, and I think overall the defensive core is not that great. You have Zapdos, you have Screamtail, you have all these, yeah, kind of defensive mods that want to go on the offense, but there's just no real, no clear cut. And I think for the offense, I had Great Tusk last season. I think Great Tusk is a great mon, but yeah, I just don't think the Great Tusk is your number one weapon. I don't. I just think that's not the best idea because it's counterable. Yeah, that's just the way it is. And I think Venusaur is just too predictable. And yeah, and I think Ninetales is pretty much a one trick pony with the Sun. And if you want to, for example, cancel out your weaknesses, for example, you, I don't know, want to switch into a grass type, it's just, yeah, it doesn't work with the Terra. It just doesn't work well with the Sun. So I think this team has some sort of pieces with Great Tusk and for me Bishop. I like Bishop, but I just don't. I just think it cancels itself out. So I'm gonna have to give it Jodo League warning. Sorry,
Oh wow.
that's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
All
But I think
right.
we are in the top division here that we have in this league, and I mean, yeah, okay, we are not the best players all. Now, no one of us is the best player. Yeah, we know that, but we're not stupid. Okay, we're not stupid. And when we face this team, we already know what we have to prepare for, and we're making this a bit easy in the preparation because well we know what we have to expect and yeah you just you're not helping some of your mons with the sun so yeah sorry for that then next team for me is actually
Do you want me to give my opinion as well?
sure
Okay, yeah, I mean, you can go. It's fine, right? But yeah, just I want to say I don't think it's like complete Jodo League warning, but I haven't seen the other teams, but I would reckon that none of them really are. But yeah, I can definitely see some of the issues. The main thing I see is that he really wants to be if you're running Sun, you really want to be scary as a team. And if I look at this team, it's nothing that really scares me. Like you have the Sun and you have Great Tusk, which is yeah, I mean that's pretty obvious, right? It makes sense. You get the boost, and that's pretty scary. Then you got Venusaur, obviously, which gets the boost under the Sun. But that's really it. Like Zapdos is not a scary S tier, at least not to me, especially not in the sun. Screamtail is not scary at all. Bishop, in my opinion, pretty underwhelming A tier. And Manaphy, without the tail glow, it needs a noob to really get going against, in my opinion. And yeah, Siglissar, no Shed-Tail, Regirock. Espeon is a pretty good D tier, but it's still nothing that you look at and go like, oh damn, how am I gonna prep for Espeon this week? So yeah, it's just I would say it's just not scary enough to justify the sun. That's my opinion. All right, let's go.
okay next up I have Drew with the Long Island Lucario. So the main thing about this team, it's not just it's when I talk about teams, it's not always the types and all. It's just how you use it, and I think this team is going to be he's going to have a lot of trouble with this team because you have your S tiers, Zygarde and Slowbro, which, in my opinion, are one of the worst S tiers. I think Zygarde is actually a pretty well mon in an offensive team because Zygarde can clear things out and yeah, and you just I mean your offensive ones are Jolteon. Jolteon is a one trick pony in this league. I mean yeah, it got Terra, yeah, Terra Ice, Terra Water, but that's it. You ain't gonna run any other Terra because you need Terra Ice or Terra Water, and you can prep for that. Then you have Sarlacc, which is kind of a wall breaker, kind of a sweeper. I had it. I think Sarlacc is a great mon, but not if it has to rely mainly on itself. And then you have Superior, which, well, without Terra, it's plain old Superior. And yeah, and your defensive core, it's yeah, it's a core. But I just think you overpaid for Slowbro in the S tier. I think you overpaid for that one. Way too costly. S tier for Pokemon that's A tier. Yeah, that's a good A tier, but not S. Nah, that Pokemon is not an S tier Pokemon for me. And yeah, I think Grimmsnarl is not a good Pokemon at all, especially in draft. Then you have Registeel, which again, not a good Pokemon in draft because you know what's coming. Either Iron Defense or some kind of set with Stealth Rocks. Yeah. Then you have Muk. Muk is actually a pretty solid Pokemon. And Then you have a Pokemon that you really need to come a lot of the times. That is Licky with the Wish support for your team, because there is no there is no real recover besides maybe Slowbro. And yeah, I think your team, you seem like you want to go a bit stally maybe, but just doesn't really work for me. And you can't. I just don't think that you won't achieve that much on the offense. You won't be able to break many cores, and your defense won't be able to hold up against many of these, yeah, overpowered offenses that we have in this league. So for me, Long Island Lucario is just a little underwhelming.
What would you rank it as?
A little underwhelming.
Ah, a little underwhelming. That's the tier. That sounded like just a summary, but it is indeed a tier. All right, a little underwhelming for the Long Island Lucario. What the hell? All right. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a verdict, I would say. I think Superior is definitely amazing as a pickup in B tier. I have no idea why it is B tier, because it didn't really lose any moves, did it? Um,
Mm.
because we play national decks, so I mean, it doesn't get hidden power. Obviously, it doesn't get Terra Blast, and it can't Terra. So that's a con. But you got so much utility with this mon still, because it still has defog, still has taunt, still has recovery, still has knockoff if it wants to, and yeah, because you never have the 4 move slot syndrome with this thing, because all it really runs is Leaf Storm, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
you always have your hands free. It also gets defog. Did I mention that? And that's a great
Mm.
defogger, because it doesn't hurt to put it on that slot. So yeah, it's got the great speed tier. So that's definitely a huge plus to have that in B tier. But other than that, yeah, Grimmsnarl in A tier, definitely agree.
I
Not
mean, wait, one sec. It's a great defogger, yeah, but you don't want for especially for Drew. I just besides Altaria isn't
no.
Superior his only
Yeah,
defog.
it's his only defogger, so he definitely struggles
That's
with hazards big time, especially because there are many things that really don't want to run heavy duty boots, in my opinion, most of the time. Like for
Mhm.
example, Jolteon, it likes to come in and out with the volt switch, and but it doesn't really want to run heavy duty boots most of the time. So that's gonna limit in many cases the viability of this mon a little bit. So yeah, you definitely know that. He's a little bit lackluster on the hazard removal side of things.
yeah, and as I said before, he wants to go with more of a defensive team, but if you don't have any real defog support or just at all, it's not gonna work. Yeah, and I just don't think that you're gonna put in that much work with this team, and if you win, it's probably going to be a very low differential, because yeah, you have to play these long matches with this kind of team, and I just don't see it. I'm sorry, man, I just don't see it. I just don't.
What I like about his team is that he's got the Zygarde, and usually the best counters to Zygarde are grass types, because obviously they resist the 1,000 arrows. And he's got his scariest mon, in my opinion, is the Cerulege offensively. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that definitely comes in on a double switch on those grass types, for example. And also he's got the Terra on Jolteon to maybe lure
Yeah.
1 or 2 grass types along the way. So on ground types, he can ground types for Jolteon is what I'm thinking now. He can go into Slowbro most of the time and teleport out. So yeah, he's got that going for him. So that's something that can hold the team together a little bit, in my opinion. So yeah, it might work. I don't think it's a terrible team.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I just, it's my opinion. I don't think he's going to put in that much work. Okay. Next up, I actually have Infinite as my next coach. Infinite has, in my opinion, yeah, just how should I put this? How should I put this? He has good offense. Yeah, I'll give him that. His offense is very good, but defensively, nothing. I really mean nothing. Maybe Heatran to resist something, but it ain't got recovery. Then you have Seismitoad, no recovery. Skuntank, no recovery. Hazard removal, Starmie, maybe Salamence. Yeah, but Salamence is if you really play on Salamence being your the defensive Pokemon in the team, I just that I just don't think that's gonna work. And yeah, your offensive core, Virizion as a signature, I think it's interesting. Um, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, let's just say it like that. It's interesting. Okay. Then you have Tapu Lele, which Tapu Lele is very good, but yeah, you're gonna run into some problems with steel types, but luckily you have Heatran and you have Holucha, and Heatran is a good mon against steel types. It's gonna work, yeah, but you have always have to watch out for that earthquake. And Holucha, yeah, Holucha is just in draft. It's not a good Pokemon. I really think that Holucha is very lackluster. And if you go with the unburden strategy, well, let me tell you, in draft, if it works once, it ain't gonna work again. So yeah, it's just I think his team is it's a fast-paced offensive core, but you run into some problems with switch advantage. First of all, because you have those deadly mons like Tapu Lele, but I for one only see Heliolisk that really wants to run Volt Switch, or you have Holucha with maybe U-turn, but
You got Starmie with Flip Turn.
fair Starmie, but I think Starmie is probably yeah, Starmie with Flipton, yeah, but it really just also wants to spin. You really needed to spin for this team. So yeah, I just think that this team, at first glance, you think, oh yeah, why is that so low? But then you have to look into it deeper and deeper, and yeah, I just don't think that he's going to have that much success with that team because it just has s- some very big flaws. And yeah, I mean, you have this offensive core, and yeah, you can say, yeah, but you can break any wall with this core. Yeah, but how are you going to get your breakers in safely? And you always have to switch in Starmie at first to spin the rocks away, or toxic spikes or whatnot, and then bring in your offensive breaker. And yeah, I just don't see it. And the defense, it's just not there. It's just not there for me. So yeah, for me, just a little underwhelming. Um, yeah.
A little underwhelming. Do you want to rank the teams within the tiers as well, or just
Yeah, it's over Drew. So yeah, it's better than Drew's team, of course,
of
because
course?
I think yeah, I mean, for me, playing defensive in the draft is never a good play. And although he has some problems with his offensive core, I still think he's gonna have some very good matches. I can see that he already had one against
He played
yeah,
Drew.
against yeah. So yeah.
Obviously, you would
So
rank it above him now, so otherwise you
mm,
would look pretty stupid.
yeah, yeah. No, it's just I think he's gonna run into some problems with one of the better built teams in this league. So yeah.
It's definitely a scary team, and that's really what I look for mostly in a draft. Is it's if it's scary offensively, you can always make it work enough most of the time if you know what you're doing. So I don't think this is a bad team, not at all. And he's got all his bases covered pretty much. Like his speed tiers, first I thought they weren't amazing, but I mean he's got 2 or even 3 ones who really want to be Scarfers in Salamence, Lele, and Heatran even. Potentially
Mm-hmm.
Heliolisk as well. Then he's got the Terrain plus Holucha, so he's not going to get outsped by anything. But yeah, his raw speed starts with Starmie, so that's not the best. But yeah, as I said, he's got many potential Scarfers. And yeah, it's just he's got all his bases covered. Not amazingly, but good enough. And he's got Starmie in B tier, which is amazing. One of the best B tiers
Mm-hmm.
around. Like so much value for a B tier.
Yep.
And yeah, that's definitely huge for his team. Hate Heatran, hate that thing. Like it shouldn't even be S tier in my opinion. It's that bad. And Virizion as a signature, I'm interested in it. Don't think it's amazing, but we shall see. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely interesting team. I like it.
Okay. So next up, okay, that's gonna be. I can already see it coming. People are gonna message me about it. But this team takes takes offense to a whole new level, but just completely forgets about other things. And that's Tark's team, actually. So before any of you already type in the comments, well, what you doing, man? Tark's team, fucking amazing. He's gonna destroy everyone. Yeah, but it's still draft. You can prep for it. You can see what he's gonna bring. Okay. So first up, the Dunsparce with Terra. I'm I'm not hating it. Okay, I'm not hating it. I think the Dunsparce is actually pretty good defensive Pokemon. So yeah, but that's it. That's pretty much it on the defensive side for him. He has Sableye, which okay, Sableye. Then he has Toadscruel. I think Toadscruel is in and of itself not a bad Pokemon. It's just that his ability it's so bad. For me, this it makes this Pokemon pretty much useless because you just I mean, if you have this amazing speed stat and Spore, but then this ability prevents it from using it, it's just that's just that's just not good. And then to the big part of this team, the offensive core, you have Greninja. I think Greninja is not that good anymore with the protein nerf. So yeah, that is that. Then you have 2 months that I don't get really. You have Hooper and Necrozma. I don't get why you have two psychic types. Of course, psychic is a great type and all. But yeah, I just don't like it. And Hooper, although it has this amazing attack stat and all, sometimes you just don't really know how to bring it in and so deadly. Yeah, it has this amazing offensive capability, but it just doesn't work out that many times in a match. And Necrozma, mm, yeah, in draft, I never saw it work really. So I'm doubting that a little. Then you have Infernape. Infernape for an A tier is amazing in my opinion. Yeah, but then Silvally, I had it last season, never brought it because you always think to yourself in draft, oh yeah, Silvally, right? I don't have some types covered. Silvally is gonna do it. No, it's not. Trust me, man, it's not gonna do it. Um, we Trannel and I we talked about it a bit last season, and Silvally is just not a good Pokemon in B tier, even with the switching types and all. I just don't think that Silvally is a good Pokemon, and you can't really bring it that often because the discs kinda hinder it with its move pool. Then you have Iron Thorns. I think you had it last season. You made it work, but the problem with Iron Thorns and the general problem you have and I can't stretch this enough. You have probably the biggest ground weakness in the whole league, and Earthquake users, Earthquake mons are running around left and right everywhere. And I just don't think that Iron Thorns was the one that you should have picked because it just enhances this ground weakness even further. For Relegator, I like it. Okay, I like it. I think for Relegator it's a good water Pokemon. You already have one of those, but yeah, now you have two Dragon Dance users with this deadly core. You can break some mons and then just go in DD and just go through. But yeah, I think you're gonna run into some problems with hazards, with earthquake, and yeah, and I just don't think that the Dunsparce can take it all. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how you put it to work. I think he won last season. Am I right?
Nope, he didn't. He lost in the finals against Garadia, but he was the regular season's winner. But he had an amazing team last season, and yeah, this one is not quite on that level, I must say.
Mm, so yeah, and I mean, I saw one or two matches last season, and it's not personal or anything, but I think that he got carried a lot by his signature. I saw like I think we commented uh, one of his matches live, and Reggie Drago was just overpowered as a signature. And yeah, with a new team now, I I really don't know if he's going to overcome all of these weaknesses in this team. But of course, the offensive core is amazing, and yeah.
So first of
So
all, let me say something before you rank it. I want to definitely disagree on your verdict on Tark as a player because I think he's actually. It's definitely true that he had a broken team last season. But first of all,
it's
who
not the
drafted?
team.
No, it was definitely also the team for him, but he drafted it, so that's on him. So
Mhm.
that's also part of the
Yep,
skill
yep,
as a
yep.
player. First of all, and secondly, was not at all it. So he prepped very very well in especially with his Mega Pidgeot and other things. So I was a big fan of Tarek last season. He's a very very good player. So that definitely wasn't all the team. But yeah, for this team, I must say it's really incredible how weak it is defensively. So yeah, the focus is on offense definitely, but if the focus is on the offense, then why do we have Dadan Spars as a signature? I don't get it. Uh, Prof already talked about the earthquake weakness. Uh, Enhancing the earthquake weakness is a rock type weakness on almost the same level. The only rock type resist you have is Toadscruel, which is not physically bulky. So Edgequake is gonna destroy you. Even worse than that, if you look at his team, it's actually true that he does not have a single fairy type resist, which is just incredible. And both his S tiers are weak to fairy. Like imagine, people just spam Moonblast and he loses. So there are so many holes defensively. Yes, he has Silvally, and yes, he has a Pterodon Spars, which they can cover some weaknesses, but they're gonna have to be like Silvally has to be Silvally Steel every week pretty much. And then you still got your ground type weakness, which means that you want to run Terra Flying Dodon Spars and Terra Steel. Silvally Steel every week, but it's not going to be enough. He's got amazing A tiers. He's got really scary S tiers. And Hooper I like because Hooper can punch holes for either Greninja or Necrozma to clean up late game because yeah he can cover both those steps and hit the switch-ins for the respective other mon. So that's something I like. So offensively, it's very very good, but defensively, it's just non-existent, which makes me think this is not the best team as well. So what would
Um,
you rank it?
I think for a player who went second last season, it's a little underwhelming. Sorry, but he's definitely top of the bunch in that tier. So yeah.
All right, that was it for Tark. I definitely disagree a little bit. I would have it lower even because I don't think the offense if is enough to justify this severe of a lack of defense. But yeah, we shall see. Maybe he will prove us wrong. I definitely am rooting for him a little bit because I like him as a player. He's definitely exciting to watch and also very good player.
Okay, so next up, we have a team that is also that on the first glance doesn't look bad. For me, it's a team that goes into pretty solid, between pretty solid and a little underwhelming, and that's Ronan Sting. So Ronan Sting, you have Arikuno Gala as a signature. I like it. I think you can put in some work, maybe as a, I don't know, his human bravery, uh, 2.0 with little less defensive capability. Um, so yeah, your S tiers are, in my opinion, pretty solid. I like Yaskarada. I think it's very versatile, and Zorok Hizui is also pretty scary. I for one am not the biggest fan of Zorok Hisui. I think it should be in A tier. In A tier would be very good. I think in S tier it's a little underwhelming. Your A tiers, I think Volcanion is a pretty bad Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Volcanion. I think it's probably it's I just don't like it. Quackavale is I think it's a fine Pokemon. Maybe you're gonna run into some problems with Bracken, Amon here and there because Quackavale needs the sword stance to really put in some effort. But yeah, as a sweeper, it can work. Um, yeah, but then you have Florges, and Florges is the one Pokemon that you need to bring to like every battle because the weakness of this team is once again at the defense because your team is pretty much kept alive by Florges, but you need to bring Florges every week and it needs to put in work like a hospital in Chicago. Man, you need to save Pokemon's left and right every fucking minute because without Florges, there's just not much yeah defense there. You have Steelix, which not a good Pokemon. I think for draft, I think Steelix, I like it as a Pokemon itself, but I just don't think that it's good for draft. You have Dragalge, and that's it. Florges, Steelix, Dragalge, and maybe Volcanion, but yeah, three of those four don't have recovery, so Florges, yeah, you need to put in some work, and yeah. And I think the offense is not as good as Tarks, but you have at least he has a very strong defensive Pokemon with Florges that can be a backbone for this. But yeah, the offense centers around Meowscarada with the Zorok and the Quackavale. You like really need to protect Meowscarada because without it, I just don't see how you really put in some work. But yeah, I just don't think it's a good team. And yeah, from a guy like Ronan Sting, who in my opinion always had great teams, this is this is a little underwhelming. I'm sorry, man, but this is just a little underwhelming. You have Rubombi there with Sticky Web, but I think your team is fast enough. You don't really need Sticky Web. But yeah, you have Dragaji. I love Dragaji. I'm gonna give you that. I love Dragaji, but yeah, I just don't know if it's top of a little underwhelming or very bottom of pretty solid. So yeah, Trannel, your opinion?
Okay, so there are many new Pokemon that I just don't know, like Meow's Karada. I really don't know what the move pool even is. But I know it has Protean, which is nerfed, and I know it's pretty fast, so that's pretty much all I know. The the duck thingy, I don't know anything about really. Articuno, I know it can't hit steel types, but it can Terra, so that's interesting. Definitely interesting choice for Terra. Zoroark is pretty cool. I like the typing. But yeah, I don't really have a huge opinion about this team. I just want to say that the left half of this team, like, just completely looks like a LGBT pride parade. Like, it's ridiculous. It's That's definitely like a gay pride team. So yeah, whatever you think of that, that's nice, I guess. So yeah, apart from that, I don't really have an opinion on this team. It could be good. It's definitely also very offensive, which I like.
Want me to say something offensive now?
You should probably you should probably do that off air.
Okay, just cut it out if it's too offensive.
I will.
Instead
I will cut
of
it out.
calling
Just yeah.
instead of calling the team Flanders Flygons, you could call it.
But yeah, let's call them the flamboyant Flygons. That's a nice name. I will
Yep.
request that. All right, that's it.
Hey,
What did you rank it as? I missed it. You ranked it as
um,
between.
I I'm okay. Ron and
Let's.
Sting. Yeah, your
It's
opinion?
solid. It's solid. I don't know. I
Okay,
don't
but
know. I
it's
don't have an opinion, but I think it's solid just because Ronan's thing is really good, and I don't want to rank him lower.
yeah, but Ron and Sting, you're bottom of solid. Okay, you're bottom of solid. Okay, um, just so we're clear here. Okay, so next up is a team from a guy that I really like.
Oh,
You
that's mine.
know,
All right, cool. Let's go.
Schnauze the Rentner. No, um, no, it's from a guy who's pretty much the best host of a league that there is. Pretty amazing YouTube
It's
content.
fucking Mayo.
It's of course Mayo.
You're just setting me up, you dick. All right, it's Mayo. Nice.
Yeah, Mayo, as good as a guy as you are, your team does not reflect it. Man, so your team is Octozold as a signature with Ninetales. I think it's gonna work. I think Octozold is going to put in a lot of work, but it has to put in a lot of work because if you look at the other mons, yeah, yeah, you have Volcarona in the offense. I think Volcarona is a great A tier, but not a great S tier. And I think Haxorus is a one trick pony. Your defensive core, I like Slowking, but not an S tier. I don't even like it as an A tier, maybe as a B tier. I don't like it as an S tier. Um, I like Liger. I think Liger is pretty good. Dalmice and Fortress, they're pretty solid as well. Then you have Grafai, with maybe you can pass some subs to Volcarona or to Octozold. But yeah, but I think this team is solid actually because he has some good defensive Pokemons, and I think Octozold he has to play it right, but I know that he can, and if he does, it can really break a lot of Pokemons, and Volcarona and or Haxorus are going to be there to clean the mess up. But yeah, and for Volcarona and Arctozolt and Ninetales, he has good hazard removal. So yeah, the one thing that I think that I must say is going to be a problem is that Girder. I like Girder. I just don't think that it should be your primary fighting type. So yeah, yeah. But other than that, I think it's a solid team. It's a solid team.
Are you still there? I can't hear you anymore. Ah, all right. So yeah, I definitely agree on most of the things you say. So Arctozolt as a signature. So he's just playing on being scary, and he definitely has attacks with the hail. That's for sure. And yeah, he's has to justify it a little bit and by being scary, and he definitely is that. So he's got Volcarona, he's got Hexorus. Yes, they are both one-trick ponies in a sense, but that's a hell of a trick they do. So yeah, even if you know what they're gonna do, you can't always do something against it. Then obviously he's got the Slowking Gligar combo, which just is a very good typing wise a duo that can both pivot, so that's nice. So he's gonna get his hits off with Arctozolt. I mean, Slowking was a necessity for him after picking Arctozolt on turn one, and I mean, I think everyone knew he was gonna pick it after he picked up Arctozolt on turn one, because yeah, just chili reception. I mean, really self-explanatory. So yeah, he really has a good top six, like all the way up to Gligar. But I think those are also gonna have to be the mons that he brings most weeks, because I really think the team falls off on the right half. So on the low tiers, I'm not a fan of it. I really don't like any of his low tiers. So yeah, it's definitely a scary team. Mayo's a very capable player. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, his game plan is pretty clear. So let's see how he does with it. It's gonna be interesting.
Yep.
I'm really glad he's back, because yeah, he's a I like him as a player, and I like him as a content creator, as a person, and yeah, it's exciting.
Yep. Okay. So next up,
Yo, you didn't
is
rank it, by the way. Did you
oh
rank it
yeah,
as B tier? Probably
pretty solid.
pretty
Pretty
solid.
solid. Yeah,
All
pretty
right,
solid. Nothing crazy.
moving
Okay.
on.
So next up is my week one opponent, Moonlight. Um, yeah, this team, mm, it's it's same tier as Mayo, pretty solid, nothing crazy. I think Raichu Alola as a signature, it can be a threat. It can be a threat, yeah. But I'm not the biggest fan. Gotta be honest, because even it has coverage with Surf. It had it already, but just never got put to work. So I just don't see how Terra is gonna help it with that. I think Scizor as an S tier is he overpaid for that one. I think Enamorus is a pretty solid S tier. It got some coverage, but still, I think steel types are going to be a problem. But for that, he has Nidoqueen, he has Taurus. So yeah, I think his A tiers he overpaid for them as well. I think Voshian and Nidoqueen are solid B tiers, not A tiers. But then his B tiers, they are pretty good. I like Gudra. I think Tauros is also a very good Pokemon. And Gastrodon is it's a good defensive Pokemon. I just don't see why he has two ground types. But yeah, the other mons, you have Pincurchin with Raichu, so that could work. But I wouldn't rely on it. To be honest, I wouldn't rely on it. And I think Cryogonal is probably one of the best D tiers, and Munchlax is just chill. So yeah, but now to the team itself, I think is going to have a problem breaking some mons, so Scissor can sweep through the team or Enamoris because there are not many breakers in Nido Queen. Although, of course, Sheer Force Life Orb. I don't know if Nido King was still on the board when he was selected, but he should have picked that instead, in my opinion. Yeah, I think a problem is also going to be Scissor because Scissor is going to be, yeah, the defensive backbone of your team with that steel type. And I think Scissor is you're going to have to rely on Scissor on nearly every day because it always has to make that split between offensive breaker or sweeper and defensive backbone with Roost Defog and momentum with U-turns. So yeah, but overall, you still have a pretty solid defensive core, and the offense is it's good. I like it. I like the offense still. So yeah, but I think you're going to run into some problems, and yeah, but it's nothing crazy. Okay, this team is nothing crazy in and of itself. So yeah, I'm going to put it in pretty solid, nothing crazy.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely I would say I like this a little less than Mayo's team, for example, just because I really don't like the signature. Like Raichu is not that scary. I get that it's really fast if you have it under electric terrain. It also can click the what's it called? Rising voltage, obviously, which is strong. But I mean, you play a Mon down if you bring the Pincurchin. It's just not a good Pokemon, and yeah, I think Raichu is not worth that price, even if it can Terra. Like coverage really wasn't its main problem. It's not like a case of Jolteon, for example, or like take Regieleki, for example, which would have all its problems solved. Like Raichu had coverage already. It's just not that scary. And yeah,
Yeah.
definitely what Chien in A tier, whatever. I looked that mon up. It's just not good. It's one of those mons that people think it's good until everyone finds out how it works, and then they realize, oh damn, it has terrible typing. It doesn't have reliable recovery. It's just not that great. And yeah, so I think I'm just not a fan. It's just a personal thing most of the time. I don't like all these mons that he's got. Like I don't like Gudra. I don't like the Tauros form. I don't like Gastrodon. I don't like Pincurchin. I don't like Wochien. I'm a fan of Nido Queen. I like Scizor pretty much, and I like the Enormous, but that's really it. And yeah, there are many. I don't think this team is very scary. So
Mm. Yeah, but I think he's still going to put in some work with that team.
I mean, he's a very,
Um,
very, very good player. Moonlight is
yeah,
so he's definitely
yeah.
gonna find some. But he also has been out of the loop for quite some time. Like he hasn't played for over a year, I think. So he's gonna have to adjust to the new meta as well. So let's see how he does.
Mm.
It's gonna be exciting.
Okay. Next team are going to be the California Crawdons. So this team, it's pretty solid. Okay, it's pretty solid. But still, I just still think it's nothing crazy. I like Rapirio as a signature. I was thinking of taking it, but yeah. But I think Rhyperia with the Terra is amazing. I like Iron Moth, but yeah, I think it's I don't I personal opinion. I think that Volcarona is still better than it, but I think Iron Moth still is one of the most scary mons in the new gen. Then you have okay. So I kind of forgot where I was because we had a little break. But now I'm just gonna keep going with the next thing. Dragonite. I think Dragonite is amazing. with Terra. I think Dragonite in and of itself is not that great. I just don't think it's S tier worth. I think he he did struck gold with his 8 tiers. I think Empoleon is amazing with Roost, and Slitherwing is pretty solid as well. I like Weezing Gala. I think it's for me. I hate playing against it. I always have problem with breaking that Pokemon. And you have Meloetta. I think Meloetta, yeah, with the form change, maybe you can cheese out something. And yeah, but I think Meloetta, it's solid. It's not. It's really on paper you can make it work. In a game it doesn't. Then you have Zarude. I think Zarude. Not that big of a fan. I think Zarude for me is just a little underwhelming. Rotom, pretty solid. I love it as a C tier. It helps this team. It helps Empoleon with Defog, so Empoleon doesn't have to run Defog or Weezing. And then you have Autono, which sucks ass, and Ariados for Sticky Web, maybe 1 week. Yeah, but overall, I think this team, the offensive core, it's good. It's good. I think the defensive core is not that good because you over rely on Empoleon. And yeah, but overall, as I said, I'd put it in pretty solid, nothing crazy.
Hmm. In my opinion, this is a very, very good team. So I would definitely put it on first glance. I would put it in S tier even, but I would rank it higher than you personally. But I see some issues with it. Like for example, it's not that fast. It's actually pretty slow. His fastest mon is the Iron Moth, and then he's
Mm,
got Zarude, and what comes after that? I don't even see a base 100. Like the next fastest thing is like Dragonite. So yeah, it's really slow. And on top
yeah.
of that, he relies on the Wish support by Adino, for example, for Rhyperior, as well as the Weezing, which Weezing is really good on his team. I like it. But yeah, just the fact that he doesn't really have a way to circumvent this speed weakness that he has. Like, yes, the Zarude can be scarfed, I guess, but it's also not that scary as a mon as a whole. And his
Nope.
sticky web support is really terrible. He doesn't want to bring Ariados ever. Really, you don't. It's just too bad of a Pokemon. So yeah, I see this. This is the issue with this team, but I would still personally rank it as A tier because like the pros are so much on this team. Like it's really scary offensively. Rhyperior, amazing signature, very good defensive core. Like really good hazard game, decent hazard removal. I like a lot of things about this team. But yeah,
Mm,
where did you rank it? Did rank it in pretty solid at the very top.
yeah.
All right,
Yep.
moving on.
Um, and now we are going into A tier, a good team with some flaws. Starting off this tier with our champ, Gayadia. I like this team. I like this team a lot. I think Tyrantrum that could work out. Yeah, that could work out. And um, I like Iron Treads and Larios as S tier Pokemon. Yeah, overall he does have very solid Pokemon for each tier. I don't
What are you
think that
talking about?
he.
He's got fucking Amoonguss, the worst A tier in existence.
So I think Skeledirge is an amazing A tier. I think Amoonguss is super good
What the
with
hell?
the Regenerator,
It's
and
terrible.
yeah, no. But overall, I like it. It's just for me. This team ranks in the what is it top? Yeah, it's definitely one of the better teams. It's just have some problems with the speed. I think that Crobat, yeah, Crobat's fast and Laia's fast, but after that, there's nothing. And
I mean, there
their
is
defense.
Iron Treads, right?
Oh yeah, Iron Treads is pretty fast, right? But still, no base 100 Pokemon. And yeah, I think this team is going to be pretty slow at the beginning of the match. You're going to need a bit of time till Tyrantrum can go through. But I think your team is able to support that. I love Skeledirge with those hazard removals, and I think Crawdaunt could put in some serious work here. And I actually like the Rotom Frost. I think Rotom Frost can sometimes really help you here. So yeah, but I think it's still it's good. Yeah, it's really good, but yeah, but it's sometimes just what you are going to have to prepare for, and in this case, I think it's sometimes very one dimensional against this. So yeah, yeah, but overall, it strikes good team with some flaws for me.
All right. Yeah, don't really have much to add on this team. It's super scary, definitely. Like the Tyrantrum as a signature, it hits so hard, and yeah, it just monsters like that I like as a signature, so he's gonna benefit from that. As I said, I hate Amoonguss as a Pokemon, but overall this team is synergizes pretty well in my opinion. So yeah, I like it. It's good.
Um, okay, now this is gonna be a bit here and there. Trannel,
Yes.
you wanna rank my team real quick? After that, I'll go over your team.
Okay. I want to rank your team? Well, um, let me have a look. All right. So we got Begonthought Cricketot. He's got a Sand team. He's got Golisopod as a signature. Tapu Koko, Escadrille, Tangrove, Reuniclus, Mienshao, Umbreon, Moltres, Gigalith, Drampa, Purr, Ugly. All right. So my first thought is that I hate Golisopod as a signature. I don't think. Does it even get Terra Blast?
No, but it has enough coverage.
Yeah,
Does it
okay.
get Teleblast?
I'm not sure. I don't think it does. Yeah, I mean, it's just the issue with it is with its ability. Like, I get that it doesn't have to stay in the terrible typing that it has, and I get that it has a lot of coverage options, but the typing in itself, like, there's never the threat like, oh my god, how am I gonna prepare for Terra bug moves or Terra water moves? Like, people have switch-ins for those, so you're gonna have to Terra into some other type to be offensively scary. But yeah, then you only get the normal 1.5 boost, which people can switch into that most of the time because it's not that strong. It's strong, but it's not amazingly strong. So it's not the scariest thing in the world. It doesn't really provide any defensive value other than, I mean, I guess, yeah, it does support with spikes. I go with that, and it definitely has strong priority. So that's what it has going for it. Yeah, on the other side, you have the terrible ability, and yeah, the fact that it's not the most scary signature. So I don't like that very much. You've got Tapu Koko, which I feel as a single one, obviously it's amazing. But on this specific team, it feels a little bit wasted because don't have a single mon, and correct me if I'm wrong, that benefits from the with this new ability. Like, there's not a single one around, so that in that case it's a little bit wasted. There are
Mm-hmm.
many other teams that would benefit way more from the Coco, but yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Coco. It has a great speed tier, can be special, can be physical, can you turn around, and yeah, but I don't really see how it's necessarily like works with the team other than, yeah, it's just by itself a good Pokemon. Then you got obviously the Sand. You got the less costly Sand Setter in Gigalith, which I guess I like, but Gigalith Gigalith is also a little bit of It's got a little bit of you play one mon down syndrome. It's not severe with this one, but it's rarely going to be valuable as a slot other than setting up sand for the Excadrill. And you know my stance on Excadrill. I don't really like it as a mon personally. So yeah, I'm just not a big fan of sand. So yeah. Then you got some really strong defensive options with potential regenerator, Reuniclus, Tangrowth. I like those A tiers. They are provide much needed defensive value for the team. Mienshao is a really good Scarfer, really good B tier as well. Solid. Umbreon, another monotype mon with great bulk, just like Tangrowth, Reuniclus are as well. So yeah, and I guess Gigalith as well. So you got lots of monotype mons. Moltres also very good B tier with U-turn potential. So yeah, you are U-turning around quite a bit. So I like that. And yeah, overall it just looks like a decent sand team. I'm not a fan of sand teams, but yeah, let me just look at the speed tiers. You got Coco, then you got Mienshao, and there's a gap in between those. But yeah, obviously you do have the Excadrill of the sand, Mienshao potential Scarf, Moltres could be fast. So the speed tier's looking okay. Hazard game looks decent. Hazard removal looks decent. So this is definitely not a bad team. I personally probably would rank it either in low A or high B. So I will rank it, for now, I will rank it in B just because I think there are some other teams that you ranked in B tier or even lower that are also not that bad. So yeah, I like it. I don't like it personally, but I can see that it doesn't have a lot wrong with it. But yeah, don't like the signature. All right, that was
Yep.
my more than 2 cents on your team.
Okay. I'm gonna defend it real quick. One
All
sec.
right, defend it.
First up, talking about defending something. You talked about Goliath support with the defensive capability. It has 140 base defense, so I can use it at least for that with a good terror type. And then, yeah, as you said, Coco. To be fair, when I picked Coco, I had no idea what team I was gonna play, and I just
Yeah,
thought,
I
okay,
think that shows a little bit.
Coco is yeah. But then after I picked Coco, I just went, okay, you know what? Coco's good. I can build around it and maybe Excadrill again. Didn't play it since like what season 3 or something. So yeah, and I just thought Coco is going to remove some of those pesky steel flying types and water types that Excadrill kind of has a problem with. Then that regen core with Tangrowth, Reuniclus, and Mienshao, I think is gonna be pretty solid. And yeah, and this is okay. I prepped like for 7 or 8 weeks already. Like I'm not capping. I actually like already have 6 or 7 teams already, and I think I'm only going to bring sand like 3 or 4 times, um,
Yeah,
and that is
opponents,
why
opponents, please take note.
yeah. I mean, I saw it in Gil's PRs. This is actually not going to be a sand team that really runs sand that often because I don't want to run sand that often. I think sand is very predictable, and that's why I like Gigalith because I don't have to bring it that often and don't waste an A or a B pick um,
That's a very,
with
very
that
valid
one.
defense. Yeah, it definitely is not reliant on sand. I can see that.
Mm.
But definitely, obviously,
So
Excadrill is not an S tier mon without sand. It just isn't. It's an A tier without sand.
yeah, but yeah, I'm completely agreeing with that. But I thought of Excadrill as maybe I can use it, especially with Rapid Spin. I think Rapid Spin now with the speed boost. I think I can put Excadrill to some work with that. I think I'm going to play it like, for example, Great Task, like I played with Great Task last season. I think I'm going to play Excadrill like this season, and I think yeah. It's still. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's A or S tier. I think it's B tier at best. This team. I think last season my team was way better.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I
Last
still.
season your team was insane.
Yeah, but last
That would have
season
been
I just.
easy S tier.
Yeah, but I just lost the focus last season. So yeah. Um. Yeah. Okay. But now I'm going to rank your team, and for one, when I first saw the team without the trades, I actually thought that I I was so hoping that we two play against each other in PVC because man, your team was ass. Like, okay, anyone who saw his team before the changes, whoa, like I mean, he. How long did you play for? Like 1 or 2 years in PwC. But man, that really showed. Okay, that really showed on that team because that team. Okay, um, but now you have Zorok as a signature. I'm not a big fan of Zorok. I think it's not a good Pokemon, and maybe you can put in some work with the Terra. I like Celesteela and Fini, that old Gen 7 core. Then you have Excalibur, which in my opinion is just a better Haxorus. Um, yeah, but I think Excalibur, yeah, it has an amazing ability, and Alakazam as well. And you have Heracross, which in my opinion is amazing. I love Heracross, and with Trailblaze, yeah, it's gonna work. Then you have Quagsire as your ground water type. Yeah, yeah, I see it. I mean, you do run into some trouble without it against, for example, setup sweepers, because Celesteela and Fini they don't have that good recovery. And yeah, I like Roserade. I'm a big fan of it, and Komala could put in some work here and there, and Flareon is just it just sucks with that move pool. Yeah, and then we have the star of the show, of course, um, Reggie Lecky. I just this man here, Trannel, he always used to say, "Man, Reggie Lecky is so ass. Why you picking that shit? It sucks." And now it picks itself. Yeah, the irony, unbelievable, unbelievable. That he would snitch on his own theories. Yeah, that just shows you what kind of guy Tronell is. So yeah, but overall, I think it's a good team with some flaws here and there. I think, for example, hazard removal maybe a bit of a problem, but yeah, maybe the defense with no like Celesteela and Fini, they don't have recovery, and your Wishmon is Komala, so yeah. But overall, I still think it's solid, and Alakazam and Excalibur, they're pretty good Pokemons for A tier.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with your overall verdict. I think it's a good team with some flaws.
Mm. Okay, then for me now, we are going into the ranks of, yeah, we are going into high A or even GG. Um, Next up is going to be Girahim and the Power Snakes. So this team looks, um, without the signature, I would have said straight up, maybe a Gen 6 OU tier, OU team, the first 6 months. Then you have Obstagoon. And yeah, I like this team. I like this team a lot. I think it's pretty solid. Has a good defensive base. I like Vikavolt. And yeah, I love, of course, Lando in draft. Amazing. Victini. Mm. Sylveon as a defensive Pokemon. Pretty good. Keldeo for A. I like it. Noivern. Neuvern's pretty solid. Metagross amazing. And yeah, Obstagoon. Never saw it put in that much work, but I think with Sticky Web, it's gonna do its job. The Decidueye and Quillfish, I like them, and Armaldo for E. I think that's a fair price. So yeah, I like the I love the offensive capability of this team. You have Lando, Victini, Keldeo, Metagross, and Obstagoon. So yeah, and maybe even Noivern, and then the defensive backbone of this team, of course, Sylveon. Mm, Still, I think your team is pretty scary, and I don't want to prep against it. Maybe I have, just don't remember. But
I play
yeah,
that guy week 2. That's terrible. I hate it. He's one of the best players in the league, pretty sure, and he's also got one of the best teams.
yeah, yeah. For me, it's I think it's already a GG tier. So yeah,
All right, I can definitely see that. Yeah, agree. It's just I don't really know what to say. It's just amazing. The only downside, maybe if I want to find one, it's really hard to say, honestly. Nah, it's
mm,
just a really good team overall. I would have to look at like the type. Maybe it's weak to some type randomly or something, but yeah, on first glance, this just looks amazing. To be
yep.
honest, best team we looked at so far.
Okay, now a team which in my opinion is great. I really like this team. I like the coach. He's pretty
It's
chill.
Caracas, huh?
Of course, it's
Huh?
Caracas.
What the hell? I don't think. Okay, yeah, just go ahead and.
Okay, I can see it. I know what you're gonna say. What? It's a rain team, man. Rain team's stupid, and yeah, but okay, Chestnut as a signature, not the biggest fan. But then you have Gliscor, you have Aegislash, amazing S tiers. Then you have Azumarill, which is scary in and of itself. But then you have Pelipper with the rain to boost Azumarill even further. And Arcanine, first thing you're gonna say is what Arcanine in the rain team, man, what the hell? And same shit with Garganical. But with Garganical, Arcanine, Gliscor, and maybe Chestnut, he has an amazing defensive core. And the offense consists of Aegislash in the rain, so no fire weakness and ground immunity with Gliscor, Pelipper, and Chestnut to be fair. So yeah, and then you have Aegislash, Azumarill, you have Kilowattrel, you have Overcool and Kabutops, and if he's really crazy, Golduck for the offense. So I love it. I'm gonna be honest. I think this team is going to work, is going to get a lot of kills, and is going to win him a lot of matches this season.
What does he do against an opponent that has a water type with a decent special attack that just spams Scald or whatever in the rain?
Fair,
No, like
fair.
honest question. What look at his team? What does he switch into Scald in
Yeah.
the rain?
I
He,
don't know, man. I mean, maybe a Southwest Chestnut or
yeah,
Pelipper. But yeah, of course. I
that's an
think.
issue. He's also he's creating his own worst nightmare with the rain a little bit.
Yep.
I think I mean I also like Caracas obviously. Also we also all know that Caracas is a good player. Yada yada yada. But we are ranking teams here, and this is as a rain team. I like Kabutops, but I think, for example, the Golduck, what does it do there? It's one. He's gonna bring it exactly 0 times because there's no reason to ever bring Golduck over Kabutops or I guess over Quill as well. It's just not that good of a rain sweeper, personally. I think. I think this slot could have probably been used for something else. I mean, it's only an E-tier slot, so that's a minor criticism. A less minor criticism is this Garganical. Like, what's it doing there? It's just it's a terrible mon in itself. I know people debate it now, but in a year from now,
What?
in a year from now, people are gonna have caught on and are gonna be like, "Oh Jesus Christ, why would you ever use it in draft?" I get it. It may be decent sometimes when you don't know it's coming, but if you are the team that by itself boosts rain moves, it's not going to wall anything in the rain really. And even then, you have to have a brain dead opponent that doesn't know that covered cloak exists. Like if you have a covered cloak mon, Gil said it, you're playing one mon down. It's like, yes, you still have it can set up rocks, I guess, and it has iron defense, body press, but you really have to be like severely how should I call it? Yeah,
Retarded is the word
yes,
that
yes,
should be
that's
put.
the word I'm looking for. Yes, I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, it's just not gonna do anything. It's one of those mons that has a new mechanic, and people always a little bit like monkeys if something new comes, and then they need a year to figure it out, and then they will be like, "Oh, damn it, this mon is terrible. What is it ever gonna do if you know it's coming?" So, yeah, it's just not a good mon. I predict that he will trade it away on week 3 or 4 after not bringing it once. Um, yeah, but other than that, I mean, obviously it's scary. It's a rain team. Chestnut, I disagree with you, is a very good signature because it can have some. Don't know if it gets Terra Blast, but even if it doesn't, it's gonna be a good with the Terra because it can put in some defensive work, and it's one of those mons that you can find a role for every week, I believe. His S tiers, I also agree, are definitely decent, but yeah, I think this is, in my opinion, definitely not an S tier team. I would have ranked this in B tier personally. I think it has some issues. It's not even the Arcanine. It's more like this glaring hole in the team called Garganical, and yeah, just the fact that he himself sets up the rain and then struggles against someone else who brings a water type that spams special move because yeah, Pelipper has no special defense. Chestnut has almost no special defense, and those are his only resists, really. And Azu doesn't switch into Scalds, so yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
Yep. So wanna go eight here, meet in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's your list, so you can put it in S tier if you want. It's just my opinion.
I still think this team is gonna rock.
All right,
I
so
I
let's
have
put it
faith.
in GG. But do you want to put it above or below?
I
What's it
think
called? Girahim.
below Girahim. I think below him. I think
Mm,
below him.
all right.
Okay. But now for a team that I, for one, I have no idea who this coach is, no idea how he plays. But man, even if he's the most Jodo League coach that we have ever seen, this team, it's nearly, and I'm saying nearly impossible for him to mess this up. He, from my perspective, with that team, should reach playoffs in every scenario. That is the Golden State War Turtles.
You should
This
stop
team,
punching your table, by the way. Poor table.
this team, in my opinion, um, rocks. The only flaw is Yuxi. I hate Yuxi as a signature. I think it's so bad. I think Yuxi as a mon itself is good, but as a signature, man, this thing is such a waste of the Terra. It's such a waste. It's not even funny how bad that thing is as a Terra mon. I hate it. I completely hate it. But then you have Garchomp, Weavile, Rotom, Chandelure, and Pawmod as your offensive core. Nothing switches into that. That's it. Then you have defensive core. You have Yuxi, Skarm, Rotom, Slowbro, Serena, and this fucking shit show of fairy type that you call Aromatisse. But I'm gonna have to give it to him. Wish is going to help him a lot. So yeah, but it still sucks ass. But the offensive core for me is just cutting it. It's just the right combination between strong defensive core and overpowered offensive core. So yeah, I really like it. I love the new guard jump with spikes. I think it's gonna kill a lot of things. Then you have Weavile. Still, it's the good old Weavile. We all know it. We all hate it. Chandelure, in my opinion, best B tier Pokemon there is. Pawmod with Ice Punch kills every ground type. And of course, Rotom as well. So you have two of those. Yeah, of those pesky electric types. I think Slowbro Gala can put in a lot of work here and there. And Serena, yeah. And Serena, I would say good spin, but for what you need spin, you have Scarm in the 8 here that can just defog the Stealth Rocks away. So, yeah.
It's
And
also got
then you even
Rotom.
have. Yeah, and roll them. Yeah, and you even have Nivani for the sticky web if you wanna go that route. So yeah, I really like this team.
Yes. Yeah, it's I don't know what else to say. It's amazing. I even disagree with your verdict. I don't know what Yuxi ever did to you, but I think because it also has recover now. Keep that in mind. So it's just honestly it's amazing as a signature. The
Wait,
only
what?
yeah it
No,
does
no, no,
it does have recover now. It does have recover. I'm pretty sure at least, unless I'm.
no, 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 no. From Legend Arceus, it didn't get that. Mesprit got recover, but Yuxi didn't.
Oh, it didn't. Is that
I'm
true?
pretty sure that
Yeah.
Yuxi didn't got recover.
Let's check that out later. But yeah, I mean, regardless, I think it's not a terrible signature either way. The only thing I can say is that Serena is amazing with Terra, so I can see that both of them would be great signatures, honestly. And I don't know what else to say. It's just amazing. Like I guess he's a little bit weak potentially to electric types, if you want to say that, because his defensive core doesn't really have a resist, except for I guess Serena. But yeah, that and Garchomp, many electric types in this league can Terra. So Garchomp doesn't ever want to switch into them, and yeah, he's gonna have a little bit of an issue with those. Yes, and yeah, but other than that, I don't see what's wrong with this team off the bat. Good hazard game, good speed tiers, good hazard removal, good scary mons in every tier. I don't know what to say. So I definitely agree that this is the best team we ranked. Like I like Girahim's team a lot as well, but this one I can see being even a little bit better than that. So yeah, Tylenol is gonna be a threat. Definitely more so than Prof, as you can hear. Guy definitely has some issues mentally, but yeah, yeah, it was fun ranking those teams with you, Prof. Thank you for this idea and for your input. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this. Uh, yeah, do you want to have any last words maybe on this recording? No, it's just the inner Stefan Raab. All right. I'm so sorry, people. Bye, guys. See you in the next one.